Hey, 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 yeah, hey, what a time to be alive. I left them for dead, now I'm living right. No new friends, no new advice. That was high then, but we got bigger heights. We got bigger fish to fry. Bet on myself, then I roll the dice. Man, it ain't a gamble if you know you nice.
Welcome back to Dollar Dream Podcast. I'm your host, Ara Amen. This is the #1 podcast in Dallas, and I'm here with my special guest, the CEO and founder of the OVO organization, entrepreneur, dreamer, visionary, the Mychal Taylor.
How you doing, brother?
Oh, man, I'm amazing, man. I'm super excited to have you on, man. This is actually a really special podcast because you are a marketing director at our organization, and you're the first marketing director I'm having on. And, I mean, there's going to be a lot to come.
First two. You got to have first twos, right?
First twos, exactly, man. So I was, man, it's awesome to be here with you, man.
I appreciate it. When somebody actually be on a podcast, it's one of those things where you take them up, especially for somebody like yourself that has more values and principles. And so I'm excited to be here with you.
Appreciate you, man. So I want to kind of start with just your background. Okay. Like I want to go to the very beginning. How like your upbringing. Where were you born? What was your family like? What was it like growing up?
So I'm actually fortunate, man. I grew up in a both parent household. Had my mom and my dad. They've been married about 34 years, 2 years longer than I've been alive. So they've been married 34 years. Right outside New Orleans, Louisiana. Originally, Slidell is what it's called. Then we kind of moved to this area called Lacombe. It was great, man. I have a sister that stayed with us. My oldest brother, we're 10 years apart. So he kind of was a little bit out of the house kind of when I was growing up. We have different moms. But I grew up like every child would dream of, I would say. Because, a lot of people grow up with a single parent or, different, divorce happening. But I grew up pretty good, man. Went to school, played sports as a kid. Wasn't like a D1 athlete type. But, I played rec ball, rec football, rec baseball, rec basketball. Always been in some type of speeding or leadership. So that's nothing new for me. And then kind of went to high school, went to college for a little bit. Didn't finish college. When I was in high school, I always remember being in a spot of like wanting to be an entrepreneur. So I kind of went straight into that type of mentality from day one.
What was your first experience? Sorry to cut you off. What was your first experience in being a leadership role and then seeing entrepreneurship and then wanting to do that?
So first, leadership I've always been through school. I used to host the MC when like the after school events or like they do like I don't know when the parents and teachers come in. I've always been the speaker, bro. Always been the speaker. Since like I can tell you since like little kid, I remember my dad always being like, bro, you're always speaking. Like they used to like the one kid that like starts it off. I was always that kid. In high school, even on like the football team, even though I wasn't like the all-star athlete, I still was in like a captain's role because I was always vocal. Competitive, if you can't tell. But then in college, my first time is like leadership and like entrepreneurship. Not so much leadership, but entrepreneurship. Dude, I ran a dog business. I bred dogs. That was my first.
In high school?
In high school, and I went straight to college with it. Yep.
Okay.
I started breeding dogs in my senior year of high school.
Like to make money, or was it just to? Okay, so it was like I'm strictly doing this to make money.
Make money.
How did you get into dogs?
My buddy Brian Ducree. It was kind of like one of those things like we were talking about it. So we had got a dog, our first dog. And when we had got our first dog, we was like this guy named Felipe, they call him Felipe, whatever it's called. But he was like, y'all should breed dogs. Like he just told us we should do it. Had no idea what we was doing, but we bred our first couple dogs, made the first couple dollars, and then we just kind of like started doing it from that point forward.
What was it like when you made that, when you did your business, set up your system, and then got your first check?
Like for my dogs?
Yeah. What did you buy? What was that feeling like? Did you go tell your parents? What was that experience like?
So my mom thought I was crazy.
Okay.
That was the first thing. So mom was like, go to school, get a good job. She's that type of person.
Got you.
My dad always supported it because the funny thing about it, my mom has a master's degree. My dad just has a high school diploma. My dad worked 40 years with Sears, so he's always been like kind of like he always did like little side gigs with like working on he worked with Sears, so he always did like tractors and lawnmowers. So he always did that thing, right? When I first started breeding dogs, I had my first dog named Rocky. My dad actually helped me build a kennel for him in our yard to help him to get this thing started. When I first got paid from it, the first thing I did was invest back into it.
Okay.
So I purchased another dog.
Oh, so as soon as you got paid, you're like, let's just reinvest.
Yep. I did that for a minute. I got up to 14 dogs at one time.
How are you managing this and going to school?
So when I it was like right towards my end of my high school. And
Okay.
you talking about college?
Oh yeah.
But it was miserable during college. I'll be honest.
Mainly in college, so you have a
It was
little more time
miserable.
at that
But
time.
it was miserable though.
Why?
Like the dog business. Oh, because every night I had to like walk them, take them out, clean them. It was like miserable.
Bro,
Part of the
dogs is a
reason why-
lot.
bro.
Dogs is a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
we used to
work.
do dog shows. If you go back on my Facebook, I used to do dog shows, travel for dog shows. Yeah, bro, serious. Train them and everything.
Do you have dogs now?
Nope.
You don't want dogs anymore after that?
I do. So
Okay.
if my wife sees this podcast, she might not like it. When me and Cons first got together, I purchased a dog for $30,000.
Yo, 30,000.
$30,000.
Where's that dog today?
So I'll tell you because on the podcast, what they say, disclaimer, it wasn't my fault, but the first dog we bought, $30,000. Me and Cons had just got together. We bred the dog. We had little puppies. It died a month later. The $30,000 dog passed away a month later. Because in Louisiana, the way the humidity is,
Yeah.
it was a short snout dog. So like the humidity messed up. He had a heart condition and passed away.
What type of dog is it?
American Bully.
Mm.
So when we did that, we had got 3 puppies. I remember like yesterday. Con said, it's either me or it's the dogs. This is what you're going to pick. So I sold all 3 of the dogs. I made the $30,000 back. And then I purchased one dog right when we had the little kids. I had a Merle Bulldog. And then my wife was pregnant with our youngest. And she said, I can't do this dog. So I had to sell the dog again.
But there's a lot of people that make a lot of money in
Oh,
in
yeah,
that.
absolutely.
I met someone a couple weeks ago who he has already made across over $1 million this year. This is a couple months ago.
French Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Me and my buddy Chris Fisk were the #1 breeders in Louisiana for like 5 years in a row. When we was back in like 2012 to like 16, 17. Right when I got with Constance, 16, 17 is when I had to end all of it.
Yeah.
We were pretty big with it. We had 14 dogs with kennels. It was crazy. We were flying dogs out, buying dogs from France. It was unbelievable.
That's the thing, right? Because you have to buy them usually from other countries or things like that, and then it's a risk. You got to take care of them.
Yep.
But hey, it can pay off.
It can. When we got the dog that was $30,000, everybody that paid for the stud fee paid $5,000 a pop.
Oh wow.
Yep. So every time you breed it was $5,000. It cost me I made me $5,000.
Okay.
Yep.
Hey, you can scale that.
Yeah,
You can scale it.
you can.
Yeah. So the guy I met, he did. I think it's called it's Maui, or Maui Bulldogs.
Okay.
And he was talking about how he was struggling forever, had one good year.
Yeah.
Became a millionaire in 1 year.
One dog can change
Literally
it.
one dog.
One dog can change it. When we got Polar Bear, was his name. It literally everybody on the social media started like following us, blowing us up, reaching out. People started calling you. Sold the dog to Matt Forte. Sold the dog to
Matt Forte. That sounds familiar.
played for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I was about to say he sounds like an NFL player.
Sold to Anquan Bolden. Anthony Davis actually came out and looked at the dogs. He didn't purchase one, but he looked at the dogs.
Oh wow.
I had a couple other people. If I could think of all of them, we sold some dogs to some people that was like high name, high people. Yep.
Okay, so you're in college. Are you going to school? What are you doing in school?
Partying. I did go to school my first year. I did really well. Then the year after that, man, I fell in love with like the house parties, man. I threw the house parties. I'm being very honest. I threw the house parties. Was always not doing what I was supposed to be doing. But bro, you know what it was for me? School, it made me feel like I didn't have control. I have a big issue with not being in control. Not a control freak or like I gotta be in charge like control. I'm talking about my control of my own destiny. And I feel like college, they were just telling me what I should be doing. I didn't like it.
Can you expand on that? What is college telling you to do, and what do you want to do?
So what I want to do is obviously be an entrepreneur. I want to build something for myself. Like I want to build something and like manage myself. So first I started off in kinesiology, left out of that, and I went into accounting, like CPA. And I was going to get my CPA license, but when in the midst of it, I just had this like urge of like, when I get this degree is going to determine what I want to actually do. And I don't want that. I want to find out something that I want to do that makes me happy, but actually makes me a good income. But with college, they tell you like you're learning stuff. It's just like high school, bro. You go to high school from all your life and you get told, hey, this is when you got to clock in. I mean, this is when you got to go eat lunch. This is a class you got to go to. You got to take this curriculum. Like, I just feel like you're controlled in that way.
It's like jail.
Yeah.
You know, the
intelligent
bell rings,
jail.
you
Yep.
go eat. The bell rings, you go back to class.
Get back to class. bathroom breaks. You have to ask to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
There's no like just getting up, walking out of class. I got to use the bathroom. Raise your hand. Can I get a hall pass or whatever the case may be now? Like, you're controlled. I just don't like that way of being, like, controlled.
They're conditioning you
Correct.
to go into the workforce, to
Yep.
be controlled. So what was like that breaking point? What was the conversation like with mom?
As far as, like, when I didn't do school.
Yeah, when you're
So-
you're partying, what's going on?
So, cool. This is great. Very interesting. So, mom actually cut everything off. I remember it like yesterday. We had gotten a big argument. And I wound up getting a job at Mellow Mushroom.
Yeah.
As a dishwasher. I'm going to school. I'm a dishwasher at Mellow Mushroom, pizza restaurant. And my mom sends me like an essay text. And she literally says, like, you know, whatever mom says at the time because she's frustrated with me. But she says, bring back my truck because they helped me get my one of my first trucks. So I brought back the truck. She cut my bank account off and she cut my phone off. Yep. So I had nothing.
She said car, phone, and
And bank account. And I had like a little bit of money in there. She cut it all off.
And are you away at school or are you at home?
45 minutes, hour away. I mean, it's Hammond, Southeastern University, so it's about an hour and a half away. So but I was living on campus, though. While I was on campus first year, second year I got an apartment, so I was in my apartment.
Okay, so you're in your apartment. So how are you living at this point?
Stressed out.
You're stressing.
Yeah. I'm working, though. I'm working
Okay.
as a dishwasher at the time.
So this is your first experience of like, I got to figure this out.
Yeah. So when she did that, dishwasher, and I remember moving for it's called Moveroos. I was working for a moving company and being a dishwasher at the same time. So I would get up early in the morning, do with this moving company, and then at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I would go and wash dishes at Mellow Mushroom.
And you're not working, or you're not going to class anymore.
I'm enrolled, but I'm not.
You're
going.
enrolled.
But I'm not
What
going.
classes are you taking at this point? How far in are you?
That's about my second or third year in college. So I mean, I'm taking English 102, like the next level, second level. So
It's
it's
like
not
high school stuff again.
Yeah. I'm still not like deep into like the career at the time.
Okay, so you have these two jobs. You're experiencing the world, right?
Yep.
And you still want to be an entrepreneur,
Oh, absolutely. I still want to be an entrepreneur.
and you're selling dogs at this point as well.
Yep, still selling dogs.
Okay, so what's the next step when it comes to having these two jobs, selling the dogs? What's next?
So what next happened is this guy named William, we call him Billy, Masano, and Todd Moffitt. They're both the restaurant owners at the time of Mellow Mushroom. I'm washing dishes, and I remember asking him a question. I said, how do I get out of washing dishes? How can I get to like the line cook side, right? And he goes, you got to learn the menu in 2 weeks. And I was like, bro, like what? 2 weeks? But he challenged me, and I came through, and I would wash dishes, run to the front, learn how to make the pizzas, learn everything, and I did that. And I got really good at it. I was so good that I used to be the dishwasher and the line cook at the same time, but like in a rush. It's like a full-service restaurant, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Billy Masano walking up to me. He goes, you're an anomaly. And I go, what does that mean? He says, you're just different. And he put me in the corner. He said, it was in a cooler. He goes, I want you to be a manager. And I was like, bro, I have no experience as a manager. I'm probably like 23, 24 at the time. No experience as a manager. Absolutely no experience. And he pretty much took me under his wing. Todd, the owner of the restaurant, we're still good friends now today, and they both took me under the wing and like taught me everything. Everything there is about business, entrepreneurship, and it actually helped my dog business, but Ty used to help me in that dog business. They like, when I tell you they pretty much created who I am today in a big sense outside of my parents, I have to give a lot of credit to both of them.
You found a mentor.
Yep, early.
You found a mentor early. Could you explain how important it is to have a mentor, especially at that age? Because you're partying still, right? Or no?
Oh, absolutely.
So you're partying, and you have
with
it
him.
with him.
with the mentors, but like they're
Okay.
like wealthy at the time. You know what I mean?
Okay, but
Yep.
so I'd rather party with people that have
identity.
good guidance.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you think? Explain what's going on today with people missing mentorship at that age, because I didn't have a mentor at that age.
Okay. So the first thing you're missing is guidance, and people don't understand the importance of being challenged. When he was in the cooler with me and was like, I want you to be a general manager. I was assistant manager before I was a general manager. I want you to be a assistant manager. When he challenged me, like, go learn this. When he was hard on me in certain aspects of the business, it didn't hurt me. It made me like focus more and figure out why it's like that. Like solution, like being like solution driven, I'd say. But the biggest thing that people miss when they don't have a mentor, it's simply like guidance and people shorten up you making mistakes from where you want to get to point A to point B. They lessen time to get to point A to point B. I don't think I know how to handle conflicts, how to coach people, mentor people where I'm at now if I didn't have them doing it in a restaurant, large scale. I had to fire people. I'm 24 years old and I'm firing people older than me.
Yeah.
I'm 24 years old and when they do like the company, like they check in your restaurant to like see if you grade your restaurant and stuff. I'm sitting at a table with multimillionaires at the time and I'm 24 years old. But they also see something in you that you don't see in yourself. So a mentor is always going to see something in you that you can't see. Like you only see you for who you are right now, your identity. But if a mentor can look at you and say, you know what, I can see them being at this level, that level, or where they can get to next. So.
And they saw that in you while you're a dishwasher.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
He told me, he said, I remember Billy always, or William Masano, but Billy used to tell me, when somebody comes in early, stay late, I'm always like a yes man in a sense, right? He said like that's the type of person that you need to like trust your business. So like he said like when I'm not here, I have the integrity. I'm gonna do the same things when I'm not here and when I'm there. So yeah. Okay,
that's very interesting. So you become an assistant manager and then eventually a manager, and you what is the relationship like with mom at this point?
I regained it back. But I regained it back when I started being very independent. And my mom actually saw me at the restaurant one time because we started like getting it back. Funny story. I'll tell you exactly how it happened. So let me tell you how me and my mom got our relationship back because we didn't talk for like almost like a year and a half.
That's a long time.
Yes.
That's a very long time.
My mom's a social worker. She's DCFS. Okay. Going into people's home with the kids and stuff like that. And now you got to remember, I'm staying like 45, almost an hour away from the house. I got my own I'm at like a little condo looking thing at the time. Not the best looking spot. Not a townhome. I don't even know what you want to call it. It's like a little house in the middle of a land. It's terrible looking. It was just trying to make it by myself. It's crazy. I have my buddy Ryan at my house and he walks out and he says, bro, your dog's having puppies. Bro, I see a white car driving by my house. Literally stops, backs up, looks at me. I make eye contact. Bro, it's my mom. The weirdest thing in the world. She stops the appointment she's going to, drives in my driveway, and just starts bawling tears, crying.
Oh, man.
Yep. Exactly how it happened. Almost gets me emotional now.
Yeah.
She knew absolutely nowhere where I stayed at. And you can ask her to the day, she'll tell you the story the same exact way.
That's like a movie. That's like something out of a movie.
Bro, it was crazy, bro.
Man. Okay, so this is while you're a manager?
Yep.
Okay. So you're managing this restaurant, and what's it like being at a restaurant? Because I worked at a restaurant as well. Yeah. And I remember being at that age and then working at a restaurant, and you're in a leadership role. I was just a server at that point. But you can kind of see your future if you stay here. You're like, okay, this is, as you said, you're firing people older than you. And what is that like, and what is your next move when you're in that situation and you see, okay, if I continue doing this, I know more, my future is that.
Yep.
What is on your mind for next? What is your thought process on what to do next?
What's crazy about Tide, now Billy always sold me the dream of Mellow Mushroom. So I wound up being not just a general manager, going to regional manager. So I opened up their restaurant in Metairie, opened a restaurant up in Lafayette. I'm overseeing all of them, right? The one in Lafayette's failing. They say, hey, we want you to take this one over and like redo it. Todd always told me, you're not going to be in a restaurant forever. He's like, you're going to open a business with me. You're going to do something else. We're going to do another venture. Like, he always told me the dream of doing something else. One thing about Todd, if people ever met him, he's somebody he's like I don't know what you'll call him, but he definitely like never sees somebody for where they are now. He tries to sell you on something different, right? So when I'm in that position, I'm making, I think, like $80,000 a year.
It's not bad.
No, it's not bad. With a car allowance. And Todd owns the apartment complex in Lafayette that I'm staying in now, right? So I'm paying paper like $600 for a renovated, nice apartment. I'll tell you what it was. She's probably going to appreciate this. It wasn't until I met Constance that really sold me the dream of going to do my own thing.
Why?
So when I first met Constance, I used to have this joke. I said everything I touch turns to gold, and it used to be a joke. I'm flirting with her, whatever, right? But she saw how good I was at the restaurant, and she used to be like, "Why don't you just like have your?" Because I used to get frustrated because like once again I'm controlled. Even though I'm the general manager, Mellow Mushroom has corporate rules that you got to follow by, whether it's certain food percentages or labor costs or whatever, like certain things. Even things like every 6 months we have to redo the restaurant into like a like. There's always something that you got to do. But I'm being controlled. I'm like, man, I wish things could be like this. If I had employees, I'd do it like this. If I could do this, I'll do this. I would do it like this. I would tweak this. And Constance's like, you should go do your own thing. And in that moment, I was like, what would I do? And that's how I started my first construction business.
Okay, let's back up. How did you meet? How did you and Constance meet?
Good question. I was the general manager.
Okay.
Constance was the bartender.
Okay.
She wanted a raise. No, I'm playing. I'm joking. Funny story. So when I first opened up Lafayette, they brought me down there to open the restaurant, like, because I was general manager. So they bring all your, you bring all your managers to open up a new restaurant. I was driving back and forth. So I was running my restaurant, going there, open up this restaurant. They were paying me my salary here and paying me a salary there. So I'm taking both of the salaries. It was small, like 30,000, something like that. They dropped my other salary to 60, and I was at like 90 for a minute. Cause I was doing both in there, traveling and stuff like that. Todd's good because he didn't pay me for traveling. He paid me more money, which was taxed. So he didn't pay me for gas, whatever.
Yeah, makes sense.
But so when I first went there, Constance ringed up something, and I yelled at her, and I didn't even know this. I yelled at her, and I was like, you don't ring it up like this. And I went off at her in front of the bar. Because, it's a grand opening, so we have a ton of people there.
Yeah. So
I go off on her because I'm Mychal, and I got to beat Mychal. So I go off on her. I walk back there, and I did a sarcastic, like, went off on everybody by the bar, and I leave. It wasn't until I took the restaurant over to when I tried to talk to her, she didn't want nothing to do with me. She had this story of, like, you were rude to me in the beginning. So I'm Mychal. So what I did was, it's funny because Todd told me, I was actually talking to somebody else at the time, and Todd tells me, he goes, you're going to marry Constance. And I was like, I don't even know who Constance is. He's like, the bartender over there, you're going to marry her. And I'm like, bro, whatever. Like, I'm not. He's like, bro, y'all like the perfect match, perfect everything. And I remember Constance telling me this. Billy told me the same thing. He said, you're going to marry Constance. And I was like, bro, I'm already in the middle of getting married. This is not going to happen.
You were with somebody else at the time?
Yep.
Okay.
And they told me that. And so it's funny. So we was at the bar, and I asked Constance, I said, what is your favorite drink? And she says, a pineapple mojito. So I go, I never had a pineapple mojito before. I was like, you should take me to get one. And right behind our restaurant, they had a bar behind it. So I was like, what if you just go to the bar? I was like, everybody's going. I lied to her, and I told her everybody was going to the bar. And she gets there, and it's only me and her. And we talked for probably like 4 hours. We even got in my car, and we were just having because the bar shut down, we were talking for like another hour, 2 hours. I don't know. She didn't give me her phone number. She didn't do anything, so I didn't know how to get in contact with her. And I didn't want to be a creep and go through like the HR human resources thing and get her number. So I messaged her on Facebook, and I was like, hey, can I take you to breakfast the next morning? She didn't respond to it. So now we got to go to work at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I get to work, and I'm just like, dang, I don't even know how to it's awkward now, right? Because we went and had drinks. I paid for the drinks. I talked to her all the way like 4 in the morning. Great conversation. I asked her to go to breakfast the next morning. She don't respond. Little did I know, Constance has nothing to do with social media. Like, she doesn't get on social media. She doesn't care about it. And so I get to the thing, and like for like a week, I'm like acting funny with it. Like, because I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, dang, awkward. Like, she like didn't respond back. I don't know where this is going. Like, we had a great conversation. Maybe I did something wrong or said something wrong. And then she sees the message like a week later. And then she comes she's like, I super apologize to you. I was like, what's up? She's like, you asked me to go to breakfast? She's like, I wonder why you're being so distant. So then we like started dating, took out to eat, and then the rest is history.
Okay. Then that's when she tells you, hey, everything you touch turns to gold.
About a year. 2016 is when I took over the restaurant. Let's see, me and Constance, we got married in 2018.
Seems like 2018 was like last year.
It feels like it was.
That's crazy. Even 2016 doesn't seem that long ago.
Facts. So Constance, 2017, tells me, as when I started my restaurant, 7-8 months after I was dating, I literally had a choice. Ty comes to me and says, hey, I'll keep the restaurant here if you want to work it. because I had told him I wanted to start another business.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I'll keep the restaurant here if you want to work it. If you don't, I'll give you a severance check, but we'll shut it down and I'll sell it. And you can come back to Metairie. And so it was a really hard decision because Todd's done a lot of stuff for me. I'm talking about season tickets to Pelicans games, season tickets to Saints games. Like, I had it, like, made. Like, I had my, like, whatever I asked for, he gave it to me. Like, whatever. So it was a really hard decision to make because I didn't want to move back because of Constance. So at that moment, me and Constance goes, okay, we told him we wanted to shut the restaurant down, and he found me a house in Metairie. He had the down payment, everything done for me, and me and Constance had to go tell him no and stay in Lafayette and start our family.
What was the biggest thing you learned with Tide?
Learn with Todd?
Yeah. That he instilled in you?
The biggest thing I learned with Todd, there's no such thing as an excuse. Like, Todd never takes an excuse. And people think I'm crazy now. If you ask anybody in the OV organization about excuses, they think I'm crazy. But I literally seen Todd when his dad died and when his mom. The dude's crazy. Like, I've literally seen him face, like, divorce, dad dying, lawsuit, all type of stuff. They had investors in the restaurant literally do some shady stuff and try to get him out of it, and the dude still showed up. And he turned, when he got rid of his restaurants, he turned going flat nothing from his dad, because his dad had a lot of money. He literally turned it into an investment capital property. Like, the dude doesn't take no excuse. There's no such thing as an excuse.
That's one thing I've noticed about you. You are Mr. No Excuse. And we've had conversations before where it still stuck with me, where you said, I will not cancel an appointment.
No.
You were like, I will not cancel an appointment. I don't care what. I will do it on my phone. I will talk through it. What? Yeah.
Yep.
So that's something that I noticed about you when you said, and I instill that in myself. So I appreciate that. No excuses.
There's no such thing as excuse. And what's crazy is about Todd is, like, and we had a guy on the call, Bruno, the other day. He said it best. He said, you're either gonna have your dreams or you're gonna have excuses. You can't have both.
Yeah. Do you think a lot of people today are choosing excuses over dreams?
I don't know if they're choosing excuses over dreams. I think sometimes they let distractions become an excuse. I'm not saying you won't have distractions. I'm not saying you won't have problems. I think it's all about how you choose and how you handle it. So, for example, one day you're going to start your car and it's not going to start up, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to get a new battery.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do next? Do you shut your whole day down because you got to get a battery? Or do you say, I'll get the battery later. Let me take an Uber so I can get to the office so I can continue to run my business. Or do I stop and say, hey, let me cancel all this. The battery's more important. I'm taking an Uber to make sure I get there and get my stuff done. I'll take care of the battery during after hours.
Pivot.
Yep.
Just pivot. Yeah. So there's an obstacle. Jump over it. Let's go.
Yep.
It's not the end of the world. And because you've seen someone face divorce, lawsuit, all the other stuff, death, and he's still there.
Still shows up.
And is there a time that it's okay to make an excuse?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Every leader or mentor faces it. Andrew Gaines, one of our mentors at our office, dad passes away. He still runs the BOM, and then he drives to go see his family. There's no reason why you need to make an excuse. Now, you may like it or dislike it, but when I come down to thinking about, like, where I'm at in life now, all the businesses I face, dude, there was one time when we were at the restaurant, and I forgot what actually, I think it was like the heater goes out, whatever it is. Ty's like, screw it. All right, going to Lowe's. Let me go get credit card. Boom. Let me go get these fans. Boom, boom, boom. Let me get this. Boom. Hey, this broke. This broke. Cool. I'm going to call every single person in the whole area that can fix this until I get it fixed. Otherwise, right now, let's cook it in this oven. Let's do it like this. Boom. Let's get it out. Like, there's no, like, and I think that's when, like, it's a good and a bad thing. But, bro, I'll tell you, kind of not to change it, but when I opened my construction company, when you're the owner of it, when you're the owner, everybody's going to fall off your lead. They're going to fall off how you lead them, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I make an excuse and I say, oh, we can't get this job because of this, when I'm not on the job, what do they all say?
They're going to make an excuse.
If I figure it out and find a way to fix it, I'm on the middle of a job. My line on my skid steer breaks. The hydraulic hose breaks on my skid steer. My guys are like, oh, the job's almost done. Let's leave. No, I'm going to a custom hose shop to get it, put it on this couple it, boom, 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 put it on. Let's finish the job. Oh, wait, it's getting dark. Great. Let me go to Home Depot and get some big lights to put out here, hook a generator up to it so we get this job done. Like, you just got to have that type of mentality when you're an owner. So it has to lead over to everything else.
It's a great segue. That's a great segue because, yeah, as a business owner, it's all on you. No one's going to care as much as you about your business.
Yep.
So how did you get into the construction business?
So, funny story. Bro, I'm just so action-driven. My buddy Ryan, so Ryan Vandermolen, he's living in Mandeville. We're both working at Mellow Mushroom, right? I leave to go to Lafayette. I'm very good at recruiting. So I recruited him to Lafayette. I recruited all my managers to Lafayette. Hey, man. We're staying in the same apartment at the time. And he used to, prior to being in the restaurant industry, used to have a parking lot striping job. One of the largest parking lot striping company, his buddies that he went to high school with, dad owns it. So he knows all about parking lot striping, road striping, right? And so me and him had this master plan of like starting a parking lot striping company. So when I got my severance check, I already had a truck because I always like trucks. Had a severance check, went and bought all my equipment. Dude, God works in mysterious ways. My severance check was probably like 10 grand. A guy back in my hometown, 2 hours away from where I'm living, is on, I think it was like Craigslist at the time or whatever. He puts up whole parking lot striping company for $7,000. Come take it right now. Call him up. Didn't even know the guy. I was like, hey. He's like, man, listen, you can have it, bro. He had everything you would need to start a parking lot striping company. He was doing it as a side gig, but he just wanted to get rid of it. The trailer, everything. Gave him $7 grand. Me and my buddy Ryan hooked it up to my truck. Went back to Lafayette. We had no marketing. Ty gave us a little bit of information, but Ty didn't want, like, building a business is a little different from like owning a company already. So building it from the ground up, because a restaurant franchise, you can just pay for that. So we completely fell flat on our face, but we did. We made it work.
So what'd y'all do? You'll start knocking doors. What y'all do?
So we started putting out Facebook like messages, Craigslist. First job, guy calls me from Craigslist, goes, "Hey man, you can do this job." I drive an hour for a $500 job. Didn't care. We started our company, bro. We had nothing. We're just a truck and a trailer. We do the job. It's just me and him. We do it. Another lady calls me, and this is when it all started. She goes, "Hey, I own this apartment complex. I need the job to get done." Now, we done did our research. Ryan kind of knows a little bit about how to price the jobs. I think we priced it for like $3,000. Now, you got, granted, $3,000 when it's just me and you, and we got everything. We don't have no overhead. We don't have no, like, it's just me and you. And the guy gave us paint, so we have everything. We do the job. We get the $3,000 check, but we're so so new to everything and so green. The guy goes, we get the check for $3,000. We go to cash it. You got to think we have no jobs. We're broke. They go, we can't cash the check. We're like, why? It's a good check. She's like, you wrote it out in your business name and not in your personal name. You don't have a business account. That was the turning point for both of us. We had to take an Arizona can, the 99 Arizona cans. I cut the top. I had a change bucket in the back of my truck. I had to put gas inside the Arizona can because I was at the Capital One, bro. We was that broke. And I had to put gas inside my truck just to get it over the this little road, but they had like a little hill, and I have a 1500 GMC 1500, so you can't push this big old truck. Yeah. So I drove it over, got gas. Constance literally gave me gas money because she was still bartending at the time at another restaurant. She gave me, and like, kudos to her, bro, because like when I started out the business, it was solely on her. Like she gets all the credit. She supported me. So we started off like that. So we found out, bro, I'm literally YouTubing how to get a LLC. We got our LLC. We did like LegalZoom, got the LLC, got everything. Went back, was able to cash the check, and the rest is history. We started making Constance brought flyers for us from Vistaprint. She brought cards and flyers. So she would work during the day. We would like ride around trying to talk to business owners. Hey, can I stripe your parking lot? Can I stripe your parking lot? Door to door, can I stripe your parking lot? At night, me and Constance would stay up and literally put music on and dream sell. But we would we would fold up the flyers and just put them inside of people's businesses all around town. We did that in November. Little did we know, November, December is cold, so parking lot striping is a terrible idea at that time. So we did a little bit of pressure washing, but then in May it kicked off, bro, because everybody remembered our flyers. Yeah. So they started calling us in the springtime. Yeah. Because they wanted to make their lots and stuff look good. Yeah. So we're killing it. Me and him are striping parking lots, new construction. We're just striping, bro. We're striping parking lots. It's going good. It's just me and him. This was the real turning point when I say it went off from there. We had a big job, a humongous job. And so he met this girl, and he wakes up one morning. He goes to church. I go to church. We had different churches. He comes back. All his stuff is gone, and we have the biggest job of probably my career at my striping. The job costs me like $3,000, and I'm like texting him, "Come, like, bro, we got this job. Whatever happened with him, he went on his way, and rent was due too. Rent was due. Everything's due, and I was paying the rent. Me and Constance paying the rent. He was staying there, and me and Constance, I'm looking at Constance like I don't even know what to do. Like, I don't know what to do. So
Wait, you just woke up and his stuff is gone.
We got back from church. Me and Constance went to like eat dinner. He came back. All his stuff was gone. It was like a Sunday. We remember like yesterday. All his stuff is gone.
And do you still have your truck to do the job?
I have all my stuff.
Okay.
I'm talking about his personal stuff at the house.
But he's gone. Your
gone.
business partner's just gone.
Gone.
You have no. Have you seen him since?
No, we haven't seen each other. We probably, well, kind of. We talk every now and then. We made up. We have
Okay.
I'm on
Okay.
good terms with him. Hey,
Okay.
I was running for my promotion, so
Yeah,
I had to talk to everybody.
I feel that.
But yeah, he left, man. So this guy Bobby Kennerson helped me with the job,
Okay.
and I got it done because I needed guys like laborers.
Yeah.
When it was just me and him, it was
You need
easy.
manpower.
Manpower, because the striper parking lot, you got to stand on a rope and like create the line.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't have anybody to stand on the line. Nobody knew how to do it. Nobody knew how to measure a parking lot. Like we knew all like how to measure a blank canvas.
You're in
and create a
rhythm.
line. Bro. Yeah, me and him just had it. We did every job together. So Bobby Kennerson pops up. So now, Bobby, man, he's starting out a construction company too. So I got my striping and like pressure washing. He's doing pressure washing and job site cleanups. So me and him are just like tackling jobs. Like I'll help him with a job, he helps me with a job. We're going back and forth for probably like a couple months. And then so me, him, and Constance and his wife, we sit down and we join our companies together. And that's when it really, really took off because we also owned he owned a rental store. So me and him started doing, he had the rental store. So what was great was I started doing all the work on this side while his rental store used to feed us equipment until we started purchasing our own equipment. So we did parking lot striping, demolition. We had dumpsters, the 30-yard dumpsters. So he also, me and him went in partnership with that. So we had 30-yard dumpsters. He had the rental store with another guy. So, but he would give me the equipment. So I would take equipment, demo a house, but we also owned the 30-yard dumpsters. So he got us plugged up with Lemoyne Company in Louisiana where every house that flooded in 2016, I got to demo it. So, bro, like we just had jobs.
Lined up.
Yep. So then I brought a warehouse. We wound up getting to three crews, 3 trucks, 3 crews, and we just blew up with it, man.
What year is this? This is
2017, 2018. Yep.
Okay. So everything is going well.
Yep. You want to know what the turning point's at? Huh?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to ask that question, but yeah.
Where the turning point happened? Great question. Only for you guys, the viewers. We needed a CPA because the money started getting all crazy. Like we're doing these jobs, we're coming in, money's going out. It's just money. It's just 2 guys, money coming in, money coming out. He hires his mother-in-law. When he hires his mother-in-law, at first we both thought it was a good thing. He even admitted now thought it was a good thing. It was going good. Then it kind of like took a wrong turn. Mother-in-law was kind of saying like, "Oh, you're spending this, you're doing this," and then like me and him kind of like we didn't see differences, but it was like, man, like okay, they're like, "Oh, we got to bring back the amount of money." I'm like, man, I got bills. Like the money started getting all finicky.
Like the jobs are not paying out.
The jobs are paying out. The mother-in-law is saying like, we can't spend money on this or we can't pay for that.
Okay.
So now you're trying to make me do jobs, but in a sense, it got weird because like it's your mother-in-law, right?
Yeah.
So it like, I'm an owner, you're an owner, but it's your mother-in-law. We're using my LLC, you're using your LLC for certain stuff. It's just all over the place. And
The
so,
politics is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I remember we bought Constance a brand new car. I bought a dually truck. And in the moment, me and Constance just like, and I'll tell you where the real turning point happened too. We had our son. And we had a job in Avondale, it was 2 hours away. And the guy calls me and goes, "Hey, this job has to be done by Monday." And I have my newborn son in my hands. I'm like, okay, I'll go do the job. That was one part. The second part of it is Christmas Eve. Constance is pregnant with our other child on her knees, striping the parking lot because all my staff, it's Christmas Eve, they're not working.
Yeah.
But the guy goes, we got to have it done by Christmas Day. So Christmas Eve, Constance is working on her knees, helping me stripe a parking lot, put the filling into the concrete, new concrete, so we're caulking the concrete. We're doing the whole job. We had the interior clean. It was a remodel of a Burger King. We had the interior clean, the exterior clean, the parking of the striping the parking lot, and like the caulking of the concrete. We did the whole job.
Wow.
Only thing we didn't do was like the landscaping
On Christmas Eve.
on Christmas Eve. And most of we got most of it done, but we had to have it done that day. Christmas Day, he texts me and says, "Oh, I'm out of town, bro. We'll just meet up on the following week or whatever, Monday or whatever." And at that moment, it switched. I said, "Dude, I'm not free yet. Like, I'm still controlled."
Yeah. You're not in control of your schedule.
Yeah, I'm not controlling my schedule. Because if a project manager has to tell me when I gotta get the job done, I'm not in control. And then, you do these jobs and you gotta wait net 30 days to get paid.
Yeah, so you submit you complete the job, then they submit the payment, and then it has to get processed, and then it hits your bank account,
Yep.
and you're just
You
working
already
on
know 'cause
credit.
you're in that, yeah, yep.
You're just working on credit, and you're
Yep.
just
That's where that money gets finicky. And so you're doing these big jobs, man, and you think you have it. You're making your revenue $1 million a year, but you bring home like 100 because you're having to pay your employees, pay for the rent of the shop,
the travel.
the insurance, the fee, the diesel, the propane, the equipment, the maintenance, the oil changes, like all this stuff, the travel. When we're doing jobs in Waco, when we live in Lafayette, we got to pay for the hotels for the guys.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much you're paying for. And at that moment, I said, man, I'm not there. So what I did next was I had a conversation with them, and I said, yeah, I want out. Give me a certain percentage, and I'll get the money yearly. And so I looked for my next venture. So I went back to school to finish my CPA license in this moment. And
What year is this?
it was 2 years ago, 2019.
2 years ago is 2021.
No, but 21 I started PHP, so a year before that. So 2019, 2020, 2019.
Oh, okay. So
2019, yeah, that happened. Or either 2019.
So you go back to be an accountant?
Yeah, I wanted to be a CPA.
Why? I thought you didn't like school.
I didn't like school, but when I'm leaving my company, what's my next gig?
Okay.
What's my next thing?
But I'm trying to. Okay, you just went 180
Yeah, but
or 360.
so I didn't want to go to school, but I didn't have no other choice. I got a family now, so I'm like, dude, what
Oh,
I
okay.
do next
yeah.
now?
Okay, so there you
Right?
go.
Like-
you don't have an option.
I don't have a backup plan. I mean, I'm getting rid of my company here.
Why not another company?
Okay, you're doing a company, but I didn't know what I was gonna do. I did start another company. We're gonna get into that next, but I didn't know what to do. So, I literally started finding whatever was shiny. So when I got rid of the company, I went to work at Walmart Distribution Center because my sister-in-law was working at the time. I'm working at Walmart Distribution Center. You're about to be crazy. I'm going to school for my CPA license. I'm also going to school for welding, and I'm working at the golf course because I always heard like golf course make decisions. So I'm trying to figure things out at this point.
You're panicking.
Oh, absolutely.
You're panicking.
So me and Cons made the switch. She goes back to work because
Okay.
the business, she kind of like stepped away a little bit when it started booming. She goes back. I'm like trying to do this and watch kids. I was a stay-at-home dad for probably like 2 weeks, and I was like, I can't do it.
What's been the most important thing about having Constance? Because she keeps coming up when.
Oh, bro, the most important thing is her. Like,
Yeah.
I'm very action driven. She's very well. First off, she's a praying wife. I gotta give her credit for that. She keeps me spiritually balanced. But she's been the biggest impact in my life. Like, outside of my mom, next to my mom, my dad. My mom has always been the main person in my life. Constance has been like, if I wouldn't be the man I am today without Constance, and that, I'm fully aware of saying that in front of anybody. Like, I would not who I am today without Constance.
So Tide was right.
Ty was 100% right. Oh, I'm sorry. Like, bro, she just like whatever I am weak at, she's strong in. But she supports me in a way that like, I mean, bro, I'm making all these decisions right now in life, business, and everything, and she's like, she can eat. Like, I told her the other day, I was like, if anybody, you can easily get up and walk away because everything I put you through. But she doesn't. She stays there. She fights. When things are not good, she's like, we're in this together. When things are great, she's like, we're in this together. So, mother of my kids, but not just any mother, like a nourishing mother, but when you talk about a wife, I mean, she's a wife, she's a mom, she's a friend, she's a business partner. Like, she has all these hats she has to wear, and like, for anybody that can just like throw in a towel, she can do it, but she doesn't.
I think it was all uphill from the first time you yelled at her.
Yeah. You're right. Even in that moment, like, when I was in like a dark time in my life, when I like trying to figure my parents, is like all this stuff, but we rekindle, but you know, like, you still never like heal from all that.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, Constance grabbed me. We go driving, and I'm thinking we're gonna get breakfast. She tells me, like, we're gonna take a ride. She drops me off at therapy.
Oh, wow.
She pays for it, drops me off, and says in the car, she's looking at me, she says, whatever happens with us after this moment, I hope you think it's okay. I'm only doing this because I actually love you. And she drops me off at therapy, and I went to therapy for months and got my mental back right and everything, spiritual, mental, everything was right at the therapy. But there's not a lot of women that would do that. And we're not even married at the time.
Wow. Man, that's powerful.
Yep.
That's very powerful.
And my mom, when she met my mom and her kicked it. But my mom and her hit it off. She talks to my parents more than me. My parents love her.
That's a good sign.
Absolutely.
That's a really important thing, because if you can just connect, you know, your wife and mom, then it's like, okay, the universe is aligned.
Yep.
We're good.
Yep.
Okay, so you go back to you're doing the golf course, the welding, the accounting, what was the other thing?
Welding, accounting, golf course, and working at the Walmart DC.
And the Walmart. Okay, so what's going on at this point?
I have
What are we
a
doing?
master plan now.
You have a master
I have
plan.
a master plan.
Okay, what's the master plan?
I think I'm gonna build a financial service business. I'm gonna build a credit repair, savings, budget tools. I was listening to Dave Ramsey stuff. I got I'm listening to all these financial things. I'm learning stuff in the CPA classes. At LSU at the time, I'm learning all this stuff. So I told Constance, I'm gonna open up a financial service plan.
The Matrix set in. It all came together.
Okay. I'm the first one to come up with it, baby. So in the middle of it, I'm writing all this down. So we started our first podcast called King Talks Podcast. Me and my buddy Keontae. And he's pitching to me about savings and budget. And I'm like, bro, let's get in credit repair. So we come up with this idea, Kingdom Financial Services. That was the first name of it.
It's a great name.
Great name. And now me and Constance, we moved because Constance always wanted to stay in Austin. She takes me out to Austin on the trip, surprises me on the trip for my birthday. I love Austin. And I was like, okay, my buddy Keontae stays out there. Me and him have this great idea of like building up a podcast, all this stuff. We start the podcast. We start the business. We get our LLCs and everything. And then me and Constance, we move to Austin. But the way we moved was, I was smart about it. I'm working at the Walmart DC. I put a transfer in. So I transferred and had a job. I'm trying to build out another business. I was smart this time. And so I moved. Con started working at the DC. I used to work Saturday, Sunday, Monday from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. She works Saturday, Sunday, Monday from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. So we used to just stop, clock in, go get in the car. She goes and clock. Like, we just swapped.
Yeah.
We did that. We was off Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Tuesday through Friday. So we were building the business out. And in the midst of it, we actually opened it up, but then we didn't have a guy that could market, that ran systems, and like had the technology side of stuff. So we called our college buddy Kendall. So I find Kendall on LinkedIn. I haven't talked to him in 10 years. We all went to Southeastern together, college. Now, they both graduated. I didn't. I partied and did all my own stuff. But I was the entrepreneur out of the ones. They both stayed like jobs. So Keontae did marketing for Texas State University Sports. Now he's at LSU. Kendall's at IT, working with Microsoft. So I recruit both of them into this business idea I have. Kendall comes on board. Kendall says, I love the idea, but I don't like the name of it and everything. So he revamps it, gives us a pitch deck, and he calls it 100-Fold Consulting.
What is it called?
100-Fold Consulting.
Okay.
Like 100-fold?
Yeah.
You sow, you reap. And he did it all. And then he added insurance and stuff into it, right? We didn't add the insurance yet, though. We started with the credit repair first. So we go to Kendall's dad. We get a $5,000, like, pretty much loan. He gives us $5,000. We kickstart the business. We launch it. Everything's good. I'm the face of it pretty much. Kendall's the behind the scenes. Keontae's done the recording, so I'm doing, like, videos and stuff. You've probably seen social media. You've ever heard me talk about it before. And then we go from 0 to 1,000 clients in 6 months.
Okay.
So now we're killing it.
Killing it. The master plan worked.
Yep. So that's 2020. That's like August of 2020 when we founded the company.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing like B-roll. We're doing all types of stuff. It's working, bro. We're doing about $15,000 to $20,000 a month in revenue. Got up to about 30 in revenue. Now, revenue doesn't mean you're making all that.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're still working our jobs. So both of them go, Kendall's making about 100K, Keontae's making about 70, 80K. And they said, well, we need one of us to go full time. Well, I'm working at Walmart DC, so I quit. I walk in there and I just quit because I don't want to be part of this anyways, right? That wasn't my dream anything. Funny story, the month I quit in March of 2021 is the month that David Seeker prospected me for PHP. I said no. Second time it was April. I get on the Zoom. It's during COVID time. I said no again because I was like, oh, I'm going to do this. But I was like, I can do a little side gig while I'm doing it because I want to bring more money in because we got our businesses rolling. But I wanted to still make sure I had more money coming in because I was trying to get Constance out of work too. So
why'd you get on the second call?
The second call?
Yeah.
I didn't see. So it was two different people. His company, his organization prospected me twice. It was two different people. They had the same approach though. A little slightly different, but I was like, oh, let me see if this is something different. Because it was finance associate. So the whole part of it was supposed to get into a finance associate position to be able to boost my company up. I was just trying to find something that we can add, like go get some more like skill sets to bring back to our company. Didn't work out like that.
Okay.
So in May of 2021, we fired Keontae. Because me and Kendall was like, he's not bringing enough value. He's recording, but he's not bringing value to the company. And I have no problem letting somebody go at that point. Like I'm in the, I had all this stuff. So me and Kendall are doing the business together. It's going good. We wound up buying an office in the NTTA data building. I moved from San Marcos to Dallas, Little Elm in August, right around big event. So we're going to build it out here, right? We think we have 14 staff members at the time. Now we get up to about $30,000 to $40,000 a month, but we're paying staff, but we like dump money back into it, dump money back into it, dump money back into it. And I still have money coming in from my construction company too. So I was like, I can make this work. And Constance like, well, Constance started a mobile notary business too to help us out. And we're booming. So Kendall goes, hey, I got a guy I want you to meet to be another business partner. And I'm like, bro, we just fired a business partner. Why we need another one? And that's when we met Alexis Robinson with PHP. And he drove and met me at a 54th Street. Because Kendall had already gotten to the business to get his license. And I was like, I'm good.
So Kendall's in the business?
Yes, he's actually a marketing director. But he actually was doing the business. But then our credit repair company took off again. So now he's in Arizona working the credit repair company.
So you still do the credit repair?
I don't do it no more. I'm fully into PHP. But he does it. He does all the stuff for it.
So what was the first conversation with Alexis like?
We being very transparent, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't really a conversation. He was going over the overview, and I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm not doing it. Because I literally thought that as an entrepreneur, I wanted to build my own thing.
Yeah.
So I didn't know the aspect of PHP, building your own organization, building your own thing, having control over your thing. Like, you see your future. I didn't understand it the first time. So I said no. But then I got on a Zoom call with Andrew Gaines right 4 days before a big event, 3 to 4 days before a big event. Andrew's telling me the same thing, and I'm just like, no, man, he's the vice president. I don't care. I want to be the president. I don't want to be somebody's work for somebody. Like me and Constance prayed about it, talked about it. She knows I don't do well working for people. She says, you don't have to work for people. I don't want you working for people. You're not happy when you work for people. So I went to the company convention, man.
And you're still doing credit repair?
Yep.
How did you exit credit repair?
It was a sad but easy.
Because it sounds like you're doing very well in credit repair.
Well. I was doing very well all the way into, March of 2022. I let credit repair go. Yeah, because 21 we got started. So May, March, around about April, May. How did I let it go? I had to have a serious conversation with myself. And it was tough because when you have a conversation with somebody else, there's like more of like a dialogue, right? All right, how you feel about this? I don't feel good about this. It's dialogue.
You could talk through it and process it with someone, bounce ideas off.
I had to have a conversation with myself, and I said, okay, you can stay doing credit repair. You're making an impact with it. But what I realized was when I put somebody into a new home and I got their credit fixed, I was just putting them back in debt. So I asked myself a question. I said, are you really actually living a life of like a purpose, significance? And I had to think about it. Then I had to ask my wife, like, do you want to do this? And she's like, not really. She's like, I'm just supporting you. Then I go to my business partner. I said, man, and he's like, he was honest with me. He said, bro, you're going to be somebody big in PHP. You should probably fully commit to it. And I remember driving to our office at the NTTA data building on Plano. And I'm listening to Steve Harvey's like motivational thing, right? And he said, the reason why most people aren't successful because they have a plan B and they never just have a plan A and go all in on their plan A. And it hit me in that moment. I said, I'm trying to always get a plan B, right? If this don't work, I got this or this and this. And in that moment, I said, you know what? This is my plan A and I'm going all into it.
That's one thing I remember you've even told me, because a lot of people will say, being fully transparent, right? People are like, don't quit your jobs, do this part-time. You're the one guy that's like, quit your job, go part-time. It's I love your energy, man. Like that's one thing I've like noticed about you is I love your like enthusiasm, your energy. Even the other day in the at the office, there everyone was doing call outs and you didn't get called out. And you're like, I'm fucking pissed.
Yeah,
I was like, no, someone called me out. Yeah.
Like call me out, bro.
Yeah.
Like what are we talking about here? Like call me out.
So you went to, is it Kendall?
Yes.
And you said, I'm not doing this. How'd that conversation
Not
go?
more I'm not doing this, that I want to go this route. One thing about Kendall that I'll say, like what I'll say clearly, one thing about him, he's always said, I'm going to make you a household name. He never said how he's going to do it, but he said you're going to be a household name. And when he saw my success in PHP, he has never, ever told me not to go all in. He's always been the person to say, hey, bro, this is your lane. Like, this lane's not for me. But he's always said this is your lane. So it wasn't a hard conversation, bro, to be honest. It wasn't conflict. It was more of, I can say, you're going to kill it, bro. Like,
y'all knew each other.
Bro.
He understood. It's like,
Yeah. And at the moment, you got to remember that his wife was a travel nurse and he kind of had a job. And so I'm doing PHP and we got our company. So I'm trying to get a house. He literally put his name on the lease for me to get a house because he's like, I understand the situation. I'm going to make sure you get this house. Bro, just keep running. Like, don't stop. Keep going. Like, he's never, even to this day, if I called him right now and he never once ever have, like, talked like, oh, don't do it, don't do this. He's always been like, go kill it, bro.
What was the difference between helping people with credit and then helping people with insurance?
Bro,
Because you said you had a conversation with yourself.
Bro, you're putting people in debt.
Okay.
People that, what is credit? Extension of, like, money. It's like an extension. It's not yours.
Yeah.
It's a leverage. You can use it. But let's be honest. If I'm helping you get your credit fixed, even if I put you in a home, most people that are not disciplined with their credit is low poverty. Let's be honest, poverty, right? If I don't increase your income, how can you afford that home you're about to get into? So I'll fix your credit so you can get approved for the home, and based off of paperwork. But if you're not disciplining your finances and concepts and strategies you have, I'm just putting you in debt, and eventually you're either going to lose the home with a foreclosure, you're going to get a bankruptcy, or you're going to purchase a home and a car knowing that your budget's not in that spot to afford that, and now you're in a bad spot.
So what attracted you with insurance?
What attracted me? So long story short, we got to kind of go back a little bit. Before me and Constance got together, her first child passed away of muscular dystrophy. So her 8-month-old baby, and that's very passionate for both of us. I don't take it lightly when she talks about it. But her first child passed away of muscular dystrophy. And in that moment, if somebody would have ever sat down with Constance and said, hey, I know you're a young mom, because she's like 20 at the time. I know you're a young mom. Get life insurance on your kids. Get life insurance on yourself, whatever the case may be. She maybe wouldn't have been in that spot that she was in to have to go to her mom and dad and sisters to be able to create a money or for the burial and things of that nature. And in that moment, she never had time to grieve because she's young. She had to go literally back to work. She's in school. She had to go back to college. Teachers don't care that the assignment's due on Friday that your kid passed away. They want the assignment due. Oh. So for me, when the insurance hit me, I literally said, wow, that was one part of it. The second part of it is my dad, when he retired from Sears, he lost about $170 in his retirement. 40 years with Sears and lost $170,000.
Wow.
So I go back to thinking, like, nobody ever sat down with my dad to tell him, like, man, that like the market might crash the year you decide to retire. You're going to lose $170,000 in your retirement. and then you're also getting taxed on that stuff, right? So that was both of those things are the kind of the piece of it, and then obviously the culture of who we are, the competitiveness, the culture, to be able to build a legacy. And you know, a lot of us always tell ourselves, even as kids, I want to retire when I'm 55. I want to retire young. I want to retire when I'm 45. You ask somebody right now in their 20s when you want to retire, like 45, 55.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious.
You don't have a plan, bro.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
You don't have a plan. But this is a plan. This business can give you a plan. I'm not saying you have to retire, but it can give you the financial freedom and the money you want to make at the age you want to make it.
Okay.
And you're in control. Life insurance, you're in control.
Okay.
You're in control. Bro,
That's big for you.
Bro, you're in control. You're in control, bro.
You don't have a problem with working sun up till sundown.
Nope.
But when it's on someone else's schedule,
I don't.
yeah.
I'm building their back, bro. We're building OVO,
Yeah.
right? I'll work all day for that.
Yeah.
Because you want to know why? My kids, what people don't realize, even for us, my sister, shout out to my sister Candy, outside of my wife, and my sister, my blood sister Raven, she's always supporting me. My sister-in-law Candy, when I was at my lowest spot, when me and Cons were at our lowest spots as far as finances, she's always taking me in. You know, I'm in between jobs, and I'm like, man, she's like, hey, come live with me, to make sure your businesses take off. Not a lot of sisters do that for their sisters' husbands.
Mm-hmm.
That's one part of it. When I needed the job at Walmart, she got me on the job at Walmart. When I wound up getting us a house, she's like, I'm gonna live here and pay money into the house. She's always helped me. Anything I've ever needed, she's helped me. So I shout out to her. But she's always told me, bro, you're gonna be the person that changed both our families.
Wow. You've had a lot of people speak things into existence for
Anomaly, maybe anomaly.
That's crazy.
She's supporting us in every way. She's always been like, you're gonna have the house that we all go to. You're gonna be this. You're gonna be this. You're gonna be that. And so when I have somebody outside of my wife looks up to me. We're married, but when I have her sister, and her parents are the same way. My mother-in-law, they always tell me I'm gonna be the person to change this and change that. So when you put that on your back and you say, you know what, I'm gonna do it, you can't have somebody else controlling that destiny for you.
Right.
I gotta control that.
Yeah. Yeah, you can work till the wheels fall off at that point, and then you just wake up and just put them back on and go.
It'll take it away from you in a second, bro.
Yeah.
It'll take it away for a second. And to be honest, to be fair, they may need to, right? Because if you're working for somebody, whether it's sundown, you may be thinking that you're driving in the right way, but you also gonna want to get compensated for the work you're being done, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm an owner, right? If I own the business, I gotta make sure I'm keeping my overhead low so I can get more profit.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So if I'm working my tail off to get the most compensation, but I'm an owner, I gotta make sure I gotta get rid of you first, bro. No matter if you work all day or not.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about this business is, if one of our agents work up from sun to sundown, they're building out their legacy, baby. I can't take that from them. I don't want to. But at the same time, I can't tell them to work less because it's gonna bring down like my costs. It doesn't cost me anything if they work more.
So okay, let's go into that where it comes to overhead. What was your what was your overhead when you were doing the credit picks? You said you're hiring staff.
Bro, I think we was at Kendall was. I'm saying Kendall because he did a lot of that, bro. I remember he was.
Well, you give me like percentages. You maybe.
No, I'm gonna tell you the exact number.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
remember him taking 5,000. I took 10,000 in roughly a month. So out of the 40,000, 30,000 of it or 25,000 went to like overhead.
To overhead. Okay, so that's.
So you got a merchant's account.
It's like 70%.
Yeah.
So what is your overhead now?
Maybe $3,000.
Okay. And what did you make, let's say, the last couple months?
Roughly between I've been roughly between $26,000 to $33,000 a month.
26.33 with 3,000 overhead.
Yeah.
So that's 10%.
Now, I'm talking overhead for the business. Now you talk about overhead with my house included. You talking about like 10,000, 10, 12,000.
No, just business.
Business three to 4,000.
So you went from 70% overhead to down to like 10% overhead.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay. Why did you? Trying to think of the next phase of the question. Where did you see the value, and then when you decided to go, this is 100% Plan A. When you made that switch, what did you start doing?
So when you say when I see the value in like PHP.
Yeah, the PHP, OVO, like, okay, let's go full force.
Yeah, man.
What did you do?
I saw the value in it. To be very transparent, I saw value right away. You got to remember, I hit marketing director in the first 4 months of being in the business.
Yeah.
I'll tell you where I saw value at. We went to TTT, and it was the equity was one piece because equity is another part of ownership, right? But when I saw value, it's more in the lives that we're changing, right? The money's going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
But if you provide value to somebody, Uncle Rob is what I call him. Uncle Rob always tells me, he's a lender out in San Antonio, a really good friend of mine. But he always told me if you provide value, you'll get compensated, no matter what you do. If you give value, you get compensated. What we do is valuable. Number one. Number two, giving value in other people's life. There's a numerous agents on my team. They probably like me saying this, but we've Isaiah Amato, another one of them. Seeing her growth means more to me than just a paycheck. I think in this business, we see people grow a lot. We see people taking somebody from their struggles, their traumas, their financial struggles, their financial traumas, their parents' traumas, everything they've been through, and we put them inside of a high energy environment, high competitive environment, and you literally see somebody go from maybe not even being somebody ever in life, maybe they might have just been a cook on the line, right? To go in and say, you know what, I'm gonna be the example for my family. I'm gonna be the monarch for my family. I'm gonna change the trajectory of the way my family's going. I'm not gonna be the person that's enslaved or slave to the way my parents thought financially. My parents were raised financially, because most times the way you handle money is because you're just a duplication of what your parents were, right? So you're literally saying, I'm gonna break that chain, right? And I'm gonna create something that my family can forever speak about. And when you see somebody's growth like that, dude, you talk about life insurance, you don't get that nowhere. I don't care where you go, you're not getting that anywhere.
How are you doing that? How is a higher energy environment taking a line cook and creating financial freedom and breaking that generational curse?
Bro, it's the late night conversations, the one-on-ones, the leadership, right? Our business is life insurance, but it's mainly leadership. The person that's the best leadership wins. And when you take somebody and at your job, when you clock in at your job, let's say, I'm not going to use no big names because we're on a podcast, right? But let's say if the place was named, I don't know.
Circuit City.
Circuit City. Right? Circuit City. They're not here no more. They can't see us. Right? But let's say it was Circuit City, right? You clock in at 9 o'clock. You got to do everything that job tells you to do, right? When you clock out at 5 o'clock, how many of your bosses are sitting down with you saying, hey, man, is everything going all right at home? Hey, man, are you reading books? Hey, man, I see you a little off at work. Is there something that I can help you with? Hey, I think that you can, man, if you make a tweak, you could be a manager here. Hey, man, if you make a tweak, I promise you, I can get you more money in your income. They're not going to tell you that. If you're an employee, you clock in at 9, you clock at 5, they might even say good job. You're clocking out, you're going home, and you're going to deal with all the problems at home. Your mom yelling at you, your mom trying to kick you out, you got a dysfunctional house, the bills collectors are calling you, everything is going wrong. So either you can get another job, now you're tired, you're beat up, or let's go better than that. Is anybody at your job setting an example of how to be a father? Is anybody at your job setting an example of how to be a good husband? Is anybody at your job setting an example of how you should be treated as a female?
Or are they even talking about it?
Not even talking about
You're
it.
not allowed to talk about that stuff at a
Correct.
corporate job.
No, you're not. So if you're a female and you may say, one day I want to have a husband, but your manager's not showing an example of how to be a good husband. What if he's flirting at the job? What if he's doing something disrespectful? So you as a female can't even see the example of what a husband should be like. In our environment, I can set the example of what a husband should be like. Hey, you know what? If a man's not treating you like I'm treating my wife, you shouldn't be with that man. Hey, this is how a husband should treat his wife. Hey, this is how a father should treat his kids. Hey, are you bringing your kids around this environment? Are you staying up late, man? Are you are you giving your kids exposure? Prime example, when we purchased a new car, my new agents can say, man, you worked hard for that car. Yeah, man, I worked hard for it. Did you hear what you said? I worked hard for it. Hey, that's how you can get this car. Let's go work hard together. You don't have that at a job. So you talk about life insurance. It's part of life insurance, but, man, we don't have what we have here.
Got you. What is you said you partied a lot when you were in college.
Absolutely.
Where are your friends now that you partied with?
Some are not here with us no more. They're going to be with heaven. Shout out to that. But I do have one friend that I would not discredit outside of Kendall. His name is Brian Ducree. He has his own trucking company.
Okay.
We wasn't college friends as much. We're like not even high school friends. We're like elementary friends. Like we've been neighbors since we've been like kids, right? So if there's one friend, I'll say him and Rodney Braggs. Rodney Braggs does music. But as far as friends that I party with in college, you know, it's funny because when I reach out to them, Trey Davis, he'll say, man, I always knew you were going to be somebody. They're working jobs. They're working jobs. Some of them try to start their own businesses. They'll reach out to me, but most of them, they're working jobs.
What's an example of someone that you grew up with that became successful that's different from what you're doing? None?
What I'm doing? And
that's
successful?
different. That's different. That's maybe you said trucking. A different industry or
trucking. I gotta.
Like, what are other ways to achieve financial freedom that you've seen?
That I've seen.
Yeah.
Not getting a degree. Like just
you
strictly
can
working.
Well, I mean, do you find getting a degree successful? Do you find having a job?
That might
as
be
successful?
somebody else's success and not my success.
Okay,
right?
well, in your definition of success, because it's not my definition of success either.
Cool. So you're saying somebody, what I'm doing, making like income, making everything right now.
Yeah. Not that's not doing what you're doing.
I would have to say none.
Interesting. Okay.
Outside of Brian, makes great money, does his thing. Trucking would be the only one, but even him lately we've been talking like the trucking industry is not as way it used to be.
Yeah. And does he have control of his time like you do?
No, because he's driving trucks.
Oh, he's actually driving the trucks.
He doesn't want to, but if a driver quits on him, what happens?
Well, yeah, you gotta get the job done. Okay. So what are some of the disadvantages of running your own financial company and insurance right now? Like,
the disadvantage it's a good disadvantage, though. I'll say this much: understanding that the sacrifices you're making today is going to give you a lifetime that you want down the road. People don't realize the sacrifices that you do have to make. The disadvantage is, you gotta talk to people. You do gotta show up when people don't want to be, when you don't want to show up. You do gotta be the example, even when sometimes you don't want to be the example, right?
but you're doing that at your other job.
Huh?
Your other business.
Yeah, absolutely. You said a disadvantage for myself or just?
Well, I'm just saying it's like this is the disadvantage of every business owner, right? You got to take the good with the bad.
Correct.
So that's my point.
Oh yeah. So, but other than that, the disadvantage, man.
You got to work hard.
You gotta work hard. Man. You gotta work hard. Because when people think about working hard, I love it, man. Like I'm probably crazy psycho, bro. I love the way I work. Because I just know that, bro, when you it's just the way you feel once it turns around. I haven't even seen it turn around yet. When I look at people in front of us that laid down the way for us where we're going right now, and you see the smile on their faces,
Yeah.
bro, they just glow different.
Yeah.
But you go through all these up downs, and you're like, oh, this is hard, this is tough, but you're like, bro, just imagine the day you swipe your card for anything.
Man, some of the people in our office, like Andrew Gaines, Matt Sapala, they just like look like money and radiate like crazy energy.
Yeah.
And they don't really even care about money.
It's not even about, bro. They live in a purpose at that point.
It's like you said, you've helped so many people make generational wealth,
bro.
To where it's like, oh man, like I said, I was having lunch with Matt earlier today, and he's like, there's no better feeling than seeing people that you've helped, and then now they're achieving financial freedom.
Bro, it's not. Anytime any of our agents make money, I'm always like, bro, I just pretty much help some. You're creating jobs in a sense, but it's not really a job.
You're creating business owners.
You're creating business owners.
That's like a step above jobs.
Yeah, bro. Like you're just saying, like, hey, I just made you a person that can independently go make money with or without me.
You're creating fishermen.
Yep.
And now they can all go fish for eternities. Yeah.
Bro, and it's a good feeling. Let me tell you why. Because one dimension is looking at it like that. Like, I just created a fisherman.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go a dimension a little bit.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Go ahead.
I just created, like, multiple. Because, like, now your kids can do the same thing. Your friend, like, they create, like, it just, like, a ripples effect, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're creating like, more than just a one dimension of, I just created a fisherman. I just really created a boat that got, like, the big net on the back just scooping up.
You're creating a fisherman factory.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Because think about it like this. If I help you go make money, guess how many people that you about to go change their lives?
Yeah.
So when I get to the end of it I look at it like this. I look at it when I go to the pearly white gates, and I say, God, I can just look behind me and say, this is what I've done for you. Not so much but this the impact I made. That's what I want. I want that to be like, he's like, son, I'm proud of you.
Right.
I'm proud of you because you brought with OVO, we're not just about releasing job slavery. We want to bring people closer to God too. So it's a bigger cause than just the money factor of it. It's like, man, I'm helping you make money, but financially, like, you're financially good, but also spiritually good. And not just spiritually good, you're spiritually good while you have finances.
Wow.
Because, see, people that have money sometimes can get evil with it, right?
Yeah.
But we want to create people that with money can still have a faith in God.
Yeah.
And they have a stronger, closer relationship with God. They're tithing better, right? They're showing up better, right? It's amazing that we know we have people in our organization getting baptized just from being in our organization. Like, that's the type of stuff that we want to talk about.
Wow.
And, like, that's why this thing is so much bigger, because when you say, like, man, why life is like, why this? Bro, we're doing something that you're not going to get nowhere else. You're not getting people talking about God, spirit, and whatever you believe in, not just God, but whatever form of God you believe in, boom, you got that route, you're going.
And you can't do that at work.
No.
You can't at a job.
Nope. We have a girl that's Muslim on the team. She doesn't have to believe, she doesn't have to change her beliefs, but just the fact that she knows that there's a spiritual, like, connection out there that she can have with, like, man, it's so big, man. Like, and she can be in an environment where she can, have her job on and everything that she can wear and not have an issue with it. Nobody has a problem with it.
Yeah.
Bro, it's amazing what we do.
Well, what's next for OVO?
What's next? We're going to do something big, man. We're not looking to just be an agency. We're looking to compete at the top of the top. Right now, if you ask all our agents, we want to be top 5 in the company. We want to be a board council team. And when we say board council, we want to be up there with the presidents of the company. What's next? If you're talking about the next is becoming a senior vice president team before April of 2024, what we're going into.
Okay.
And we're very clear on it.
Okay.
If you talk about in the office, we want to be the number 1 team in the office. And when people think we're competing, we're not competing with nobody in the office. Let's get that clear. So if you're watching this, that's not our competition. We're competing in the top 5 in the company, and we're clear on it. And our team's clear on it.
So you got 2 months until your 90-day run.
Yep.
Okay. What's I know that's immediately next. What's the vision and mission of OVO?
Releasing 10,000 families from job slavery and bringing 10,000 families back to God.
Okay.
By 2025. By 2029, we want 75,000 licensed agents by 2029.
75,000 licensed agents, and then 10,000 families free of economic slavery by 2025.
Yep.
Okay, so that's next year. Next year is your
kind of like the next year. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
It's a hell of a stretch, right?
You got to have an impossible goal.
A possible goal. So here's how you look at it, right? I myself can say I can do 1,000, right? Let's say my base shop does 1,000, but we're not looking for my base shop 1,000. We're looking for 5 other people to go do 1,000 with me. That's how we get there. We already have 2 marketing directors. They're clear on the vision. They go do 1,000. We get 5 other people to do 1,000. We can do it.
What fires you up today? What fires you up and you're like, let's freaking go?
You want to be honest? What fires me up?
Yeah.
That my son's watching me at the earliest part of his life right now.
I see your kids at the office all the time, man. They look just like you.
Yeah. Thank you. My daughters are great. Jade and Maya, love both of them. But the thing about Marcus, he's the other person that he doesn't owe me anything, bro. He doesn't owe me anything. He's the reason that made me mature up. Because here's the thing about it: if you have a daughter, every daughter's a daddy's girl. I mean, daddy's little girl, right? They love dad, they love dad. But it's something for you to set the example of for your son. That's my legacy. To carry my last name. And I never want him to see his dad not in grind mode. Got you. I don't want him to see me not in grind mode.
You don't want to see dad chilling.
When he sees me at the office is a good thing. The office is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Dad, you going to the office? Oh, love you. My daughter, you can ask anybody on my team. My daughter says, you going to make me monies? Yep, I'm going to make you monies. Yep, I'm going to make you money. I want them to know that, hey, my dad built this, and we're not going to let it go down to waste.
Got you.
But they have to see it while they're young. Now when they get older.
Why?
See, we have an older one. She's 12. She's been with us. She's Constance's child before we got together. So I got her when she was 3. But Jay saw her struggle. Jay Saw's in the apartment. Jay Saw is losing the apartment when we're switching, like, going here. Jay Saw is, and not losing it because we, like, did nothing wrong, but, like, just, like, going to another spot, right? Jay Saw's move. Jay Saw's broke to now we got money. Like, Jay saw all of it. She appreciates it, but she also has a conflict with it. Because once she's raised up in a certain mentality, it's hard for an older kid to make a switch. It's hard for any adult to make a switch.
Yeah.
My kids now, the younger kids now, they're seeing this certain life exposure and lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say all that, when I say it's harder for the older kids, it's not so much harder than, like, she's just like, it's hard for her to understand that, like, oh, how do y'all go from working these jobs to now you're working 12 hours at the office? Like, how do you go from working this job to now doing closeouts? How do you work in this job to now to, like, you got to fly to big event? Like, why like, last big, she's like, why are you leaving me? Why are you leaving us? And it's like, we're not leaving you. We're chasing something. Like, it's hard for her to see that. She's a kid.
Yeah.
But my son, I want him to know this. And I'm not saying he has to do PHP. I fully want him to go do whatever he wants. But what I want him to see is dad works hard, dad works late, and dad wasn't given anything. So when he gets to that spot, he can literally look at it and say, you know what? Nothing was given to my dad.
No excuses.
No excuses. Let's go get it.
No excuses, man. I think
That gets me excited.
Yeah, man. I got goosebumps right now, man.
I run through a wall for Marcus and them.
What's your son like?
Dude, he's a character. Dude, he's a character. He's my best friend, man. You give me to cry. He's everything, bro. Just like the way his mentality, he's smart, he's intelligent. I remember him being like 2 years old, and he goes, I prefer to take a nap. A 2-year-old, dude. Like, you don't, like, when he stands up to me, he goes, I want to be like you, Dad. Dude, it brings tears to my eyes, bro. It don't get me emotional now.
Nah.
I want to be like you, Dad. I remember Andrew Gaines, when he bought his Porsche, it's Easter, and Andrew throws the keys to me. It's like, take your son for a drive. My son's 3 at the time, or just turned 4. Just turned 4 because it's April. Yeah, just turned 4. And he goes, Dad, why don't you have a car like this?
Ooh.
I said, wow. You're right. I should have a car like that. That's what made me get the Jag, right? Our ring at the office, right? We're messing around. We had my birthday party, and Andrew has his ring on, and Marcus goes, Dad, why don't you have a ring like that?
Oh.
You're right. Let's go get it done. So that's when people ask me why I be so driven. They don't see those little moments. I only share with the podcast, but those are the moments that I'm like, you know what? Because I got to make sure Marcus never says stuff like that to me. Not because of a bad way.
Yeah.
That's an enemy for me. That's my enemy. My son would never be in a spot where he's like, my dad's not a competitor. My dad's not a top 5. My dad's not this. My dad's that. And I got a lot of time to go do it. And he's going to see me doing it at the best health that I ever have. So shout out to Milton. I'm back in the gym. Been there 3 months. But he's going to see me healthy. He's going to see me high energy. He's going to see me working my tail off until the good Lord tells me that my last day.
God bless, man.
Yep.
Well, thank you for your time, man.
Yeah,
I'm
bro.
really, really excited for what the future holds for OVO and your team, man. I love being at the office and just seeing you and what you do and what you're going to continue to do, man. So any final thoughts?
Man, I appreciate you having me on the podcast. The first 2. So, you know, there's first 2s, right? I appreciate being the first 2. And for yourself, man, you're going to go a long ways with this. Not just in the office, not just on the podcast, but what you're doing is impactful, and never stop what you're doing, bro. And have me out whenever you like.
Oh, you're definitely going to come back on, man. Appreciate you, man.
All right, bro.